What are your biggest takeaways? How do you think they're doing right now? It's their priority to go ahead and attack all of the claims that Amber Heard has made. How do you think they're doing at this point?
There's an old Latin saying, falsus in uno, falsus in omnibus, meaning if you're lying in one instance, everything you say must be considered false. And they have pointed out so many inconsistencies and poked so many holes in her credibility that it's going to be hard to take anything she has to say at this point at face value.
So what exactly do you think they can do to make changes in the trial right now? Is it too late? Is the case too far gone? We've seen Amber Heard's attorney step up there and try to counteract a lot of the claims, object to a lot of the claims. Is this just kind of a stalling technique, or is she trying to do something with that?
Well, look, I think something's getting lost in the noise here, and that this is not a trial about repairing Amber Heard or Johnny Depp's reputations. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, and most of the American public is concerned, both of their reputations are ruined. He has massive substance abuse issues, and she seems to be, willfully engaging in deceit on a near daily basis. But we can't lose sight of the fact that this is a defamation trial, that Mr. Depp has brought claims against Amber Heard relating to a 2018 Washington Post editorial that she wrote about domestic abuse. Now, you can go read that editorial. Johnny Depp's name is not mentioned once in that editorial. No mention of her husband, but she does point to the fact that she is a domestic abuse survivor, and she does reference a quote-unquote powerful man in the article. Now, does that constitute defamation that costs Mr. Depp $50 million? That's the real question here.
And with that being said, from the evidence that they have presented and the claims that they have counteracted, do you think that's enough to convince this jury that he has been defamed, and he has been defamed enough in multi-millions of dollars?
Well, look, here's the thing. She wrote that editorial in the aftermath of a very, very public divorce where there were allegations of domestic violence flying back and forth. For her to take the stand now and say that that article was not directed at Johnny Depp, it was not about Johnny Depp in any way, it was about the aftermath of her divorce and her history, is ludicrous. You can't read that article and be divorced from the fact that she was married to the man America all knows, Edward Scissorhands, Captain Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp. We all know who you are married to. We all know who your husband is. We all know who you are referring to when you say you're a survivor of domestic abuse. Now, Mr. Depp's legal team did produce evidence in the form of his agent's testimony that those allegations of hers cost him the role of Captain Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't know, what are we up to, 26 now? And that he was going to be paid $22 million for that role. So there has been evidence introduced that he was damaged. I don't know that they can tie it so neatly to that editorial, though.
What do you mean by that? Expand on that.
I mean, they've really got to prove that editorial, that article, which was so public and read so widely by the American public, that is what cost him the role of Captain Jack Sparrow. That because it damaged his reputation that much, and that damaging to his reputation was based on falsehoods, that is what cost him the $22 million. And again, he's not mentioned by name in that article at all. Now, I think something her team maybe could have done differently, and I hate to, Monday morning quarterback another lawyer, is that, why say that the article is not about Johnny Depp in any way? Why not just say, yeah, it is partly about him, and everything I said about him is the truth? Because the truth is an absolute defense in a defamation case.
Right. She has stood by the fact, though, that she has been the victim of all of this, although I feel like Johnny Depp's legal team trying to paint this picture that he's the victim, going as far as to bring up other situations in the past with Amber Heard and her ex-girlfriend, alleging that there was domestic abuse in that relationship, playing out audio recordings of Amber Heard saying that, oh yeah, I did hit you, but it wasn't that hard, what have you made of this evidence that has been presented, really making her out to be kind of the villain?
I mean, recorded admissions are some of the most damning evidence you can produce in a case. If you have your adversary on tape admitting that they did what you're accusing them of doing, I mean, how do you walk that back? How do you say to a jury, well, I didn't really mean it, or I was being hyperbolic? But the fact of the matter is, she does have a history of domestic violence. She was arrested in a Seattle airport for assaulting her ex-girlfriend some years back. And you know, this was something witnessed by the police, even though the charges were inevitably dropped. And believe me, charges get dropped a lot. Guilty people, newsflash, sometimes have their charges dropped. And the reality is, police officers witnessed this assault on her ex-girlfriend, which is how she got arrested in the first place. And if she's assaulting her ex-girlfriend publicly in an airport, it begs the question as to how bad her judgment is.
So with all of this being said, cross-examination is over. Amber Heard is off the stand. She's probably ecstatic to not be in the limelight anymore. What else can we be expecting through the rest of the trial?
Well, I mean, we're just going to have to see how they tie it back to this article. And that's really going to be the crux of it. I think we have closing statements scheduled on the 27th, and it's going to be really interesting to see how this jury rules. You know, because it is, again, a defamation trial. It's not about who we like better. Are we team Johnny? Are we team Amber? Whose reputation is being rebuilt? It's not about whether or not we're going to see more of Amber and Aquaman 2, or, you know, the 39th with Johnny Depp. It is about whether a specific article damaged Mr. Depp to the tune of what he says to be $50 million.
All right, and we will be watching it through the rest of the week here. Legal analyst Ken Belkin joining us here on Live Now from Fox. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon for sure.